The 7-star hotel in Dubai that you stayed in.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, so 𝔻𝕟, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know what, the one thing I just remember all the time is there's a butler outside your door. You know that?
Right. Yeah.
They have, you know, you can get a suite that had like downstairs and upstairs and a balcony, and you can see over the beach and the water and all of that.
Yeah.
But there's some really great hotels upstairs as well, and restaurants, and I think 1 or 2 are exclusive to guests only. So when you go in there, they know you're a guest, right? They know that you have come and stayed a night there or 10 nights or whatever. Well, they know you're going to afford to stay there. They treat you really well, right? Because they know that.
How much was it a night?
I think it was £1,500 a night.
£1,500 a night.
Yeah, £1,200 or £1,500 a night.
That was like 10 years ago. So it's probably like twice as much now.
No. It wasn't 10 years ago. It was about 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah. So you shouldn't say 10 years ago. It might have been around 10 years ago, wasn't it? 5, 6 years ago, right? I was trying to think about the exact date. What else did I notice about the 𝔻𝕟? There's a butler outside your door. Basically, the butler is on the corner of each wing.
Okay.
You get it? So you could say a butler shared by a few rooms, right?
Yeah.
Outside your door, you can ask for anything. And then what else happened is I got ready, had a jacuzzi, and I remember it was a mess, and I was like, okay, I'll tidy these things because I like to keep things tidy, put them away. And I went upstairs, had food, and while I was in that restaurant, a whole family came in, and it was a Chinese family. There was a lot of members in that, and I remember thinking, wow,
they spent like 10 grand a night.
Way more. There was probably like 18 people that came to have, and I know in that restaurant it was guests only at that time or something, and I was thinking, right, if this meal's cost me this much when I walked away from it, that's 18 people, right? And then they are staying here as well, right? How many rooms do they have?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When I went back to the room, what happened was the room was immaculate, and I didn't see anybody walking in and out. So I went, you know what? How did that happen? They said we've got a secret door.
Really?
Yeah, there's a secret door that we can get into every room, but obviously there's not one person, 3 come security or whatever, you know, like however they do it. Yeah. And I was like, wow. So I stepped out for an hour
to
have.
Creepy that though.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, like secret obviously door. The butler's saying, right, the guest is out of the room, please tidy straight away. So I imagine if I'd messed up that room 4 times, and every time I left, the butler probably says, come and put it back to immaculate every time.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the 7-star thing, isn't it? I bet you don't go anywhere else, and you know, you sit on the bed and you put indents in it, and you come back and it's like spick and span again, crisp again. Yeah. That's what they're doing. So you drink any water, you come back, it's full again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, I don't usually spend that much on a night to stay in a hotel. £1,500 is ridiculous, right? Because I've been poor and I really appreciate that. But if there's something you should do every time, that's what you should.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah. I just wanted that experience to see what happened, because you know what happened? I went to lunch in the morning, and there was a gentleman there, and he was in his 70s, because I was talking to him and he was telling me what his son does, and his son was in his late 40s. So I would imagine he'd had kids at early 20s, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me what he did, and I was like, okay, it looks like the people who have done something in their life come here.
Yeah.
The gentleman was of like Jewish ancestry, and he told me a story about, like, you know, how he'd went to the USA, worked really hard, and now his kids were doing really well, right?
Yeah.
And he'd just been to Egypt and he bought some rugs and all of that, and you know, the guy sounded generous. He was like, yeah, I'll go there, I'll pick a rug, whichever I want. I tell my friend Mohammed, he gets it for me, and he's happy and I'm happy, because this old gentleman is like now got wealth and he's just sharing it out. You know what I mean? He knows that you might have paid $5 grand for a rug, but the rug might be $2.5 grand. But he's like, I can say I paid $5 grand for a rug, Mohammed is like really happy, picks me up from the airport and all of that. So it's not like this gentleman was 70 and done. He knew exactly what was happening, but he was like, look, it's a life, it's a cycle of money, right? Yeah, it's like everybody's getting to make something and everybody's happy and all of that. And he was with his wife as well. But one thing I did notice is that I was thinking, I'm going to have to ask people, oh, what do you do? Because when I do go to these places, I do ask people, you know, what do you do? Because obviously I'm there, I'm thinking, right, this person's paid a lot of money to be here, right? Yeah. And it was a 70-odd-year-old gentleman asking me. So that means it must be in everybody, they want to know what everybody else is doing. Or he was trying to network with me, because when I told him I make apps and these kind of things, he was like, whoa, how many downloads have you had? And when I told him, he was like, wow, that's a lot of downloads, right? Can I take your number? And I can remember giving him my number, and I was like, I don't really make apps for others, you know, because I only do it for myself. He's like, I'll just keep you in there. He's never rang me, but what I mean is it really interested him that I'd had that many downloads. And
so you reckon you stayed there for a month and just build your network? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, the other thing I can remember is going downstairs, and I think they have a certain elevator for guests, and across from it is a Rolex shop, right? And they know when you're a guest too as well. So I didn't have any bands on or anything, but he knew I was a guest.
Yeah.
Soon I get there, he was like, how was your stay, sir? So I was like, how the hell does he know, right?
Yeah.
Then I realised that when there's nobody in, they must just sit there. Yeah. Because on the bottom floor where the shops are, people pay to come in the Burj Al Arab to tour it. They come like tourists come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there a mall and stuff there as well?
I think so. There was another few shops.
Yeah.
People come. I think they charge them to come in and have a look, take photos. And he knew I was a guest, so I reckon that Rolex shop, their stuff, constantly watching the elevators for people that come out of them, because they're like, you know, that person can probably afford a Rolex. So you get treated differently. So the whole experience was that you were getting treated differently. There'll be some people that are very rich. Then there'll be some people that are comfortable, and then there's the real working class, or even like, you know, blue collar working class, right? So it's not like you're going to be a plumber over there and make 70, 80,000 a year. You might be a plumber that's hired by a hotel that only makes 20 grand a year. Yeah. So not everybody was rich, but you could go some places and you could tell everybody here is rich. Yeah. And I actually shy away from those places because I don't feel comfortable where everybody's rich, because I noticed a lot of these people were probably brought up rich, or their families had money. Yeah. And for me, I feel at home with, I don't want to say normal people in the sense of, you know, they're abnormal, but I mean like people of incomes like, you know, 25 to 75 grand a year. That's where I probably feel normal. Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't want, you know, having money is good, but I don't want to.
You can take the man out of the village, but you can't take the village out of the pants on.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, when he said that, the man makes the money does not make the man. And what does that mean? That means you can level up and make money, right? But you can't just end up with money and then think, oh, I'm the bee's knees. Yeah? I hope you can get some like wisdom out of what I've just said. If you understand it, you understand it. If you don't, you don't. One day you will. When I was in my early 20s, I used to work for like £100 a week, which is like, you know, full time, 60, 70 hours. So I know what it's been like. And that was because it was a family business as well. And I had to help them out. And, you know, if I went to work for somebody else, I could have had, you know, £200, £300, £400 for the hours I used to put in. Yeah. So I've been there. So don't want anybody to think, you know, the guy's on there bragging about, you know, £1,500 a night hotel and these, you know, multi-millionaires he was talking to and Rolex shops. And I do this, I want to inspire all of you guys to become that. That's why you're here, right?
Yeah. So
I mentor Momin, and that's why he's here, because he aspires to help all his family, even though you're becoming a doctor one day, inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah.
Yeah, you still want to be able to provide for your family, right?
That's it.
And you want to do the doctor thing so you can help humanity and help people. So guys, you can become rich and then still do your passion thing as well. Don't die average. If you can, like and subscribe this. Like it, subscribe it. And you know what, guys? Start getting your questions in, yeah? Look, we're best at answering the questions, and I'm hoping this adds value to other people's lives, gives us something to talk about, and just makes everybody's life a bit better. See you later. Bye.